The fantasy of off-grid living with kids looks beautiful right up until somebody needs the bathroom at 3 in the morning and the water line freezes, the batteries are nearly dead, and your child suddenly remembers they have a school project due tomorrow. That is part that nobody in the inspirational videos talks about. And that off-grid living with kids can be incredibly rewarding. But it is not a permanent camping trip, and children do not magically become rugged little survival experts because you moved them onto the land. The hard truth is that going off grid with kids means every inconvenience becomes a family problem. Every failure gets more complicated, and your ability to improvise can directly affect somebody who does not choose this lifestyle. And the first reality is water. Adults can tolerate inconveniences, children cannot. And honestly, they should not have to. If your water system fails, you are not just skipping a shower. You may be dealing with drinking water, toilets, bathing, laundering, cooking, and hygiene all at the same time. And a single frozen pipe or failed pump can turn a normal day into an emergency. Families living off grid need redundancy. That might mean, store drinking water, backup containers, a second way to move water, and a plan for what happens when the primary system quits. Because eventually it will. And the second hard truth is power. Solar power is fantastic, but the sun does not care that your kid wants to watch television. Your refrigerator's running, your batteries are low, and the storm is rolling in. Your energy system has limits, and kids may understand that in theory, but trying to explain battery chemistry to a child who wants to charge a tablet, suddenly you are the villain because clouds exist. Off grid families need to understand their actual power budget, not the fantasy number on the solar panel box. The real world output demands on weather, season, shade, panel angle, battery capacity, inverter losses, and how much electricity your family actually uses. With kids, demand can be higher than expected. Electronics, gaming systems, computers, school equipment, lights, refrigeration, and heating and cooling can add up quickly. You need to know what is essential, what is optional, and what gets shut off when the batteries are running low. And kids still need a normal childhood. They need friends, school, entertainment, privacy, and opportunities to be around other children. And off grid living can teach responsibility, practical skills, patience, and appreciation for things most people take for granted. But it can also become isolating if adults treat isolation like a virtue instead of a problem. A child should not be forced to sacrifice every social connection because the adult wants a simpler lifestyle. If you are considering off grid living with kids, think seriously about transportation. Where you live from town, every trip becomes a project. Doctor's appointments, school activities, friends, emergencies, and basic supplies all require planning. And if your vehicle breaks down, that convenience disappears immediately. And the further you are from services, the more important your backup plan becomes. Harder, and another hard truth is that off-grid living creates more work. A lot more work. There's always something. Water needs moved, firewood needs cut, batteries need monitors, solar panels may need cleaning, roads may need maintenance, food needs stored, equipment needs repaired, property needs managed. And with children, you also have homework, meals, laundry, appointments, sickness, arguments, and the occasional mystery substance smeared on the wall that nobody wants to claim responsibility for. Off-grid life does not eliminate chores. It often adds them. And the difference is that you cannot always call someone to fix that problem. You become the plumber, the electrician, the maintenance person, the delivery driver, the snow removal crew, and sometimes the person standing outside in the rain asking why the pump has chosen violence. You know, Safety becomes a much bigger responsibility, and kids are naturally curious. And off-grid property often contains tools, generators, fuel, ponds, wells, machinery, wood stoves, uneven terrain, wildlife, and electrical systems, and the environment can be amazing, but it's not automatically safe. Children need clear boundaries and age appropriate education. They should understand what they can touch, where they can go, and what to do if something goes wrong. And then there is the weather. In a normal house, extreme heat or cold is uncomfortable. In an off grid home, it can become a serious logistical problem. And if your heating system fails during winter, you need a backup. If your cooling system cannot keep up during a heat wave, you need a plan. Children are more vulnerable to temperatures and extremes, and relying on one system is a gamble. The more people depend on your setup, the more important redundancy becomes. And you also have to consider the emotional side. Adults often choose off grid living because they are tired of bills, noise, crowds, or just that modern life. Kids may not share those feelings. They may have also hate being far from friends, having unreliable internet, missing activities, or hearing we can't afford that every time they ask for something. Those feelings do not mean the lifestyle is free failing, They mean your child is a person. And the best off-grid families do not pretend every day is perfect. They communicate, they listen, they make compromises, they find ways to preserve the benefits of modern life while still living more independently. And off-grid living can also expose problems in a family that were already there. When you're tired, cold, stressed, broke, and dealing with a broken down system, patience disappears quickly. If the adults cannot work together, the lifestyle can create constant conflict. You need realistic expectations before you move. Know what you can afford, what skills you actually have, what you are willing to learn, and what you will do when your plans fail. Because the plan will fail. And the question is not whether something will break. The question is whether you have enough backup money, backup knowledge, and emotional energy to deal with it, despite all that. And off grid living with kids can be one of the most valuable experiences a family ever has. Children can learn where water comes from, how food is produced, how energy works, and what it actually takes to maintain a home. They can learn that convenience is not magic, and somebody built the system that makes convenience possible. They can develop confidence because they see problems solved instead of simply waiting for someone else to fix them. And the hard truth is that off grid living with kids is not about escaping responsibility. It's about taking one more responsibility directly. It's not about living without problems. It's about becoming responsible for more of a solution. And if you're thinking about making the move, do not start with the fantasy. Start with the worst day. Start asking yourself what happens when the power's out, when the water's frozen, the vehicle will not start, the weather is terrible, the kids are sick, and you are exhausted. And if you can build a plan for that day, you may actually be ready for off-grid life, because the real world reward is not pretending the hard parts do not exist. The reward is knowing when life gets difficult, your family has the skills, the systems, and the resilience to keep moving forward. Thanks for watching today. If you found value in today's video, please subscribe. We're looking to build this channel. Without you, we can't do it. So please do that. I'd appreciate it. Have a good day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.